Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Just realised that we haven't actually checked the chickens or picked up any of the eggs since we started this map. So I'm just going to collect up a few eggs here and see what we've got. I have been sort of doing a little bit of research so that we can plan ahead with what cuts we're going to do with the grass. Unfortunately, there seems to be very little information out there about exactly how many grass growth stages we can expect and what we can expect from them. At the moment, we also need to put some water and silage and hay in for the cattle. We've got lots of things that we need to do. I've got grains that we could sell. There's some good prices here. I mean, the beans, that's 2,300 at the grain elevator. So yeah, we can do some selling as well and get a bit more cash. If you look at the grass growth stages and you go here, at the moment it's all yellow except for the bit in field 69 that we already harvested. So this is one growth stage, and so it's one stage that we can mow at on the grass. That's fine, that's great. I've seen it go to the second stage, the orange one in the middle, the lighter orange, not the dark orange. I've been testing, I've been fast forwarding, I haven't seen it go to the dark orange stage, so I don't know if it actually ever gets to the third stage of the grass. And I also don't know how many of those growth stages we can expect. Does it get to growth stage, I class this as growth stage 1, and then growth stage 2, and then growth stage 3. So does it never reach growth stage 3? Does it just stay at stage 2? And also, I realise that for modders and so on, that's not actually accurate. The growth stages are, there's a whole load of them, but this is what I'm referring to it just to keep it simple. If it only gets to... Now, I did hear that we could do 2 full cuts in a year and then a partial cut. Now, I took that to mean that we would get 7 growth stages throughout. So it would go to growth stage 3, we could cut it, go back to growth stage 3 again, we cut it again, and then we get one more growth stage so that we cut. But that might not be accurate, that might be wrong. It might be that it only goes to 2 stages, and then you cut after the second stage. So if anybody actually knows about that and can fill us in, that would be really, really great, because it would mean that we can plan ahead for the year, for what we're going to actually do through the year. And I think I've got this on the wrong setting. There we go. So yeah, it would mean that we can then plan ahead what we're going to cut and when, and little details like that that could actually have quite a major impact on how we do the year. So if anybody knows any information about that, get into the comment section, let us know. It would be hugely useful, and it will make a major difference to what we do and how we do it. We're going to stick a little bit of water in for the cows. I was talking yesterday about a zero grazing system. I have not been able to find a zero grazer mod anywhere. I have looked and looked and looked. I did say that I would get the fertilizer spreading done. I haven't actually done that yet because I kind of ran out of time. So I will get the fertilizer done. I'll probably go and set that going in a minute, and we can do a little bit on camera, but mostly what we're going to do today is we're going to get some more grass. So as we don't actually have a zero grazer, and what a zero grazer is it's a... Oh, I know why we can't do that, because we've got to get out and we've got to use the manual attach mod. I completely forgot about that, so let's manually attach it, and is there, yeah, there is a PTO on that one as well. Yeah, what the zero grazer is basically a forage wagon with a mower attached to the front, and it moves off to the side, and you just run up and down the field. It mows and instantly picks up the grass, and then you run it into cows that stay indoors or in a small field all year round. So zero grazing systems are used around the world. I believe they're very popular in Ireland, more than a lot of other places. And from what I was sort of, when you type in zero grazer on Google, you get a lot of images that have references to Ireland. So I'm assuming that they're very popular over there. And zero grazing systems are very popular over there. So we're not actually working in Ireland, but we don't have a zero grazer. We don't have any way of getting a zero grazer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the FS17 equivalent. We will put the forage wagon right there on the back, and we will put a front-mounted mower on the front, and we'll use this New Holland tractor to do it with. And then we will go out and we will trim some verges and gain a little bit of grass so that we can top up the tanks and stuff. Now, I will just park this one right here next to that trailer. I've also got the wood chips there from earlier that we need to pick up, and I might get to doing that a little bit later as well. But right now, the first priority is doing our zero grazing. I want to get the cows topped up. And then we kind of need to fast forward a little bit in time, but that's the other thing. I'm kind of reluctant to do very much fast forwarding in time, especially skipping nights, because I heard a rumour somewhere that too much fast forwarding of time and possibly skipping nights has an impact on growth stages not working correctly. So I need to be really, really careful with that. I don't want to risk anything going wrong with it, because we're going to need grass. We've got to plan ahead and we've got to have grass. Also, in the future, any grass that's left in the forage wagon will be... I know that's one of the updates they're working on. Grass left in forage wagons will disappear after 2 days, the same as grass bales and grass left on the ground. So we won't be able to do this. This time we have left it here. Before I go any further, though, my question for this week is, which tractor would you like me to get? I've given you 5 options of different tractors. They're small tractors, because I'd like to try some small ones. I've been told that the camera angle is a little bit peculiar on this tractor. I didn't know that when I first selected it, but nevertheless, we will try it out if it wins the vote. So I want some small tractors to help us when we make some hay later in the year. So your options are this Fiat 4/500 series, the International Harvester 744. Now I'm going for the 744 because my father used to have a International Harvester. I think it was a 746 or 745 or something like that. I can't remember the exact number. I will have to ask him again. I asked him only last week and he told me, and then I completely forgot about it. So I need to find out and I need to write it down. His one, though, was a 2-wheel drive, and I do remember driving that tractor. I used it I used it quite a lot, actually. I probably did a few hundred hours in this old International Harvester tractor. The gears were on the... They were off to the right-hand side, right down the side. I think there was something on the left-hand side as well. It was such a long time ago that I used it, I can't really remember now. Yeah, and it was a 2-wheel drive. I think it was like 68 horsepower tractor. But anyway, that's why I've got this one. The old International Harvester 744. If it comes with a 2-wheel drive option, we will use the 2-wheel drive option because I want to get it as close to the one that I used to drive when I was very young as I possibly can. The next one is the Massey Ferguson Series 200C with the crawler tracks. And then we've got the Universal DTZ Universal Tractor something. Someone told me, someone put it in the comments section, and I actually meant to read out what they'd said, and then I forgot to write it down. I am terrible for this. You guys, you tell me all this really cool information. I remember what people have told me. I just don't remember who it was and exactly what it was. But they did tell me the Universal Tractor, the logo and everything. It was changed. I don't know, but anyway, Universal Tractor is, I think it's Romania. I've got a feeling it was Romania, but anyway, it's really, really popular in its country of origin, and it is Eastern Europe, so we're including that one. It's the 445 DTC. And then finally, we have the Valtra Valmet 602. Now, they used to be just Valmet. You had Valtra and you had Valmet, 2 separate companies, and then they joined together. Some people have been saying that they were Swedish, some people have been saying that they were Finnish. I think that one was Swedish and one was Finnish, and then they joined together. And I'm pretty sure that Valtra was the Finnish one, and Valmet was the Swedish one. I do need to go back and look at the wiki entry on that one. I did read it previously, but anyway. So you got the Valtra 602 as well. So you got your 5 tractors there to choose from. It's your vote. It's your game. Head in the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And remember, I'm not just taking the tractor that wins the vote, I'm also taking the second most popular one as well. I will be buying 2 of them this time round. It's certainly not going to be happening every time, but this time I will be buying 2 of them. So let's just unload this little beastie here, and then we can see how much more grass we're going to need. We may not need very much at all, actually, if we just come up here and take a look. Oh, yeah, we are. At a guess, I'd say we're going to need another 5,000 litres of grass, thereabouts. We also need silage and hay. We don't have any silage bales left. We've got the silage bales that we made, and they're sat round the front. They might be ready soon, but they're not ready yet. So let's just bring this one up here. We'll pick the wood chips up later. I'm going to worry about those right now. I'm just going to skip through now, and we'll go to the Deutz, and this one... It's not done a fantastic job of spreading on these fields, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of fertilizer spreading. I wasn't going to do a great deal on camera because we've done lots of fertilizer spreading on camera already, so I will tidy up this field here, and we will put it going in another field, and then I think we'll just leave it to it. The grass fields on this map at the moment are not ploughed. It looks like they're just meadow grass, so if we put fertilizer on them, it makes no difference to them. So what we're going to do, I think, is in the autumn, we will plough up the grass fields after we've done our final cut on them, which is another reason that I really need to know what the grass growth stages and everything are. I got no clue at the moment as to exactly how much grass we can expect from the map. And it's going to have such a major impact on everything that we do on this map. Because if it goes 3 growth stages, it means that we should get 7 altogether, and we can sort of plan ahead for that. But if we don't get that, if it only goes to the growth stage 2, and then you're supposed to harvest it, that means that we'll end up getting 5 in total. So we need to know, because if it is growth stage 2, as soon as it hits number 2, we got to get going and get the grass cut so that we can get ready for the next round. And yeah, so we kind of need to keep on top of it. The other thing I was hoping to try to get to today was we can get started on planting the corn. There's corn that we're going to be planting. That won the vote by quite a significant amount. Once we plant the corn, hang on, there we go. Grass is kind of going to be our next big thing. We've got quite a lot of grass that we're going to be needing to deal with, but yeah, we just got to wait for it to grow, really. There's not going to be a huge amount to do. Let me press H rather than anything else. We just go up through and we'll get back to our New Holland so that we can start getting over and get some more grass. What we're going to do with the rest of the year is we're going to harvest our grass, but there's not going to be a great deal more that we do for quite a while after harvesting the grass. It's going to be a cut of grass. We've got to keep our cattle going, and this is where it sort of gets difficult with the 4 days. Just back out through here. But I was told that the cows eat the same amount per year, so it doesn't matter if you've got it on 4 days per season or 12 days per season like we got it, or 3 days per season. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference to the overall amount that the cows eat. They eat the same amount over the course of the year. It's just that if you have it on 12 days, you've just got to top them up more frequently. So we are going to need to top them up more frequently. However, we don't need to worry about them eating more food because we've got it set on 12 days. So that's one good thing. The next thing that we need to worry about, I was thinking about doing forestry, but we're not going to do forestry for a little while now. I did a little bit with the trees. We basically want to get the corn planted and then start really advancing time, whether that's running it on 120 times speed, or if I've got to do it in my own time and run it on 60 times speed and not skip the nights at all. Does anybody, this is why I really need to know about whether we can skip nights or not skip nights at the moment, because I heard about some kind of errors with what's going on, and it takes a long time to go through 24 hours. If you're running 24 hours on a minute on 60 times speed, that's 1 minute per hour, and if you can't skip the night, that basically means it's got to sit there for nearly 30 minutes before, 24 minutes, before you get through a single day. So we want a front-mounted mower. We've got a nice big class mower here. We got that one. But what we want now is we want a front-mounted mower. That there is a rotary cutter. That's a topper. We don't really want that one. That one's not really a front-mounted machine anyway. So we want the smallest front-mounted one. That requires 90 horsepower. It's 3.2 meters. This one requires 70 horsepower, it's 3.1 meters. So that's the only options that we've got. I do have another mod for one, but I didn't think they were that great. So we're going to go with this one, the Pottinger Novacat. This one costs us 11,000 euros. We'll buy that. And this is going to be our zero grazing system. We've got a brand new front-mounted Pottinger mower to go on our old New Holland tractor with our very, very old forage wagon. One of the oldest forage wagons in existence. I think it's an absolutely brilliant combination, having all three of these machines running together. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So we'll run this little combination, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to use this to trim some verges. I know in some places in Europe it's quite acceptable to drive round and cut the verges close to the roads and use that for feeding your animals. In places in Russia it's quite common to see it being done. In the UK you don't see it as much, but I do know some places where it's actually considered quite acceptable to go and do that, because if a farmer is going along and taking stuff from the verges, it means that the council don't have to worry about it, and they don't have to go along and trim the verges. So they're quite happy for any farmers to go along and do that. It's just that you don't see it happening very often, because, quite frankly, there aren't that many verges in the UK that need trimming like that. Whereas here, we're going to start right here on this bit, and we're going to unfold that one, lower down and start up, and we go straight to the back, and we lower that one down, and we start that one up as well. And this tractor is really going to struggle with these two. It's going to do it, but it's really going to push the limits of what this tractor can handle. And there is no grass here anyway. I'm mowing this verge and there's nothing here to mow. I don't quite know why. I thought that there was something here when we were driving along. Nope. Okay, so let's forget that. I'm going to go and find some grass somewhere that we can cut, and yeah, hopefully, yeah, because we need some grass for our cows. We desperately need grass for our cows. Well, that is a little bit bizarre. What I did was I went along the edges of the road for a little bit and tried it out in a few places. I could see some grass being cut, but it wasn't doing anything. So now I've come into my own field and I started up the mower, and it instantly dumped a huge great big pile of grass on the ground. So it looks like the mower works. It was definitely cutting grass, but for some reason the mower isn't leaving grass behind on land that we don't own. If we come through here, it's mowing the grass and it's letting it drop into here. Now I don't know why this is, whether this is something to do with the seasons, or if it's something to do with this mod or this map. There's all kinds of reasons why this might happen, and I got no idea. So if anybody can shed some light on this, that would be greatly appreciated. We're not going to do very much because we can't actually go out and cut elsewhere. We will just grab a little bit from here. I'm not going to do very much here, and I'll shut off the front mower in just a minute, and then we can run this little bit of grass that we have gathered up over into the cows. If I just finish picking this bit up and then lift the mower and stop mowing, we've got a little bit of grass left over there where we tried to, where we were turning. So if I, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to go there and do that. Fold that one up, and there's a little bit of grass left just here from where we were turning the corner. So if we start the forager up again, you can go and grab that bit. So yeah, it's interesting. I suspect it's something to do with the map that's not letting you trim the verges. I don't know why it doesn't let you trim the verges. There's something in there somewhere that's stopping us from being able to do that. Obviously, maybe it's just that they don't like the practice of going and taking grass from the verges in Poland, because this is the one that's set in Poland. I don't know, we'll get to the bottom of it eventually, but we've got enough grass to be going on. We don't need to worry too much about grass for the cows. It's important to keep the other ones topped up, but the grass shouldn't be a major issue. So we'll dump that lot in there, and then we can come back to that in a bit. The Deutz has stopped out in the neighbour's field over there, not done a great deal. I'll probably do the rest of the fertiliser in my own time, I think. Now that we've done that little bit, I'm going to park this tractor just here for now, and just stop it right there. We're not going to worry about it for a minute. Shut you off. and we're going to go and get a couple of bales of hay and put those in for the cows. I think you can just put food straight in for the cows in this version of the map. Or with Seasons, I think you just grab 2 bales of hay and put in. We don't have the silage right now to do the power food, but I think well, if we just put 1 bale of food in, just take a look here, and yeah, you can see, where is it gone? There, you can see there's a little tiny stripe just there. There's a couple of stripes just where I was testing it. I could see the grass being cut, but it wasn't actually doing anything, so we'll get back to silage and hay is quite low. Power food is fine. So if I stick this bale in, I'm hoping what that will do is sort of balance it out a little bit better until the silage is ready. And it should be ready fairly soon. Oh, that's gone in quite nicely. That's ideal. That's perfect. Right, that's enough to at least see them until the morning. And then the silage bales should be ready. We'll be able to feed the cows. And hopefully, the ground is 7 degrees at the moment. So if we start going a little bit faster now, we will... the ground should reach 10 degrees. It's got to reach 10 degrees. We can't do anything until the ground has reached 10 degrees. Once it does, we'll then be able to get planting on the corn. We've got 3 fields to plant. I'm thinking actually we might only get 1 seed drill to do it, but we'll sort of wait and see on that one. Now, if you just stick the spike in, it will tell you that at the moment, that's still grass. That's not hay. So it hasn't actually turned yet. It takes a third of a season to change over. That's an incredibly strong fork. If my memory serves me correctly, when you stick a bale on the end like that, well, actually, usually the bale just sort of crumples down and it doesn't pick up. You just flick a little bit of grass out the end of it. You certainly wouldn't be picking it up like that. So we will meet you in the morning, and if... You know what, I'm thinking that we should actually sell a bit of our crops. The prices are pretty good. If we were to sell a few, we could then be able to buy some more grass. That's what I was thinking. And if you look here, let me just show you. Oh, wow. Okay, we really are going to sell some. We've only got like 4 tons of beans and stuff, so we're going to sell. We're definitely going to sell. Now, if you have a look here, grass. Let's get rid of that just for a minute. Field 69 we own, that is grass. Field 60 is also in grass. We could buy Field 60. Field 88, this is the one down here. This is in grass. That is a big field, and it's got a nice quantity. We'll go and take a look at that a little bit later. Right now, we can go and spend the night, if this works. Well, I know that skipping the night works. That doesn't have any problems. What does have the problem is... We just go Alt-N, there we go. We sleep through the night. It's whether or not we can... Why am I going backwards? I think it's my joystick again. It does funny things sometimes. 20,610 euros of sold milk. We're now on 234,000 euros. We're doing really well with that. Our cattle now really need to be topped up. So let's go and check that silage again. And then we can do the grass in there. The ground is currently at 8 degrees. We need that to warm up a bit more as well. And then we can get the seed drills. If we'll just check the silage. If the silage isn't ready, we're just going to have to dump... Actually, when are we going to put... We've got to put something in for the cows. They're going to have food. So we might just have to give them some hay. Nope, that's still grass. Can't do anything with that. That's still grass at the moment. So we'll leave that where it is. I will clean up the alleyway, and once I've cleaned up the alleyway, I will... I think what we'll do is we'll go up to the dealership and we will get the corn drill so that it is ready to start planting, because we're almost there. 8 degrees C. It's got to reach 10, but we're almost there. So if I deal with this, and then I will meet you at the dealership so that we can get started ready for that. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer before we can use silage, so we'll probably have to put a couple more bales of hay in, which means that we could very well end up having to buy more hay before we can do anything. It depends entirely on the whole grass growth stage thing and how quickly we're going to have more grass available. Right, we've got, at the moment, a couple of seed drills. On our leased bit, we've got the multi-purpose fork, the wrapper, and so on. But we don't have very much leased, so we don't need to worry about that. For owned machines, we've got this Skvernland here, which doesn't plant corn. We've got the let's go through here, the Kuhn Citera 3000. This one is again unable to plant corn, and then we've got the Massey Ferguson here, and again it can't plant corn. So we don't have anything that can plant corn at the moment. The Amazon here, this one's 13,000 euros. This would actually fit quite nicely with the Zeta that I have just brought up. Then you've got this Skvernland here. That one there is a 3 meter. This one here is a 4.5 meter because it extends out slightly. Only requires 70 horsepower. That's actually a really good drill, that one. I really like that one as far as the base game goes. I don't think we've got much in the way of mods for it. We got this one here, but that's really expensive. And that's it. As far as the mods go, that's kind of it for the row crop planters. Row crop planters seem to be a lot less popular as far as the modders are concerned. You'll get the regular drills, but you don't find the row crop planters quite so often. So I'm going to go for this one, the 4.5 meter one. We might get a second one as well while we're at it, but we won't just yet. So if we get that one there, we've got seed back at the yard, and there is fertilizer in the bag right next to it. So if we go over there, loading the fertilizer from the bag straight into the drill is, like we said before, it is actually... Oh, no, that's seed. I thought it was fertilizer. We're going to need fertilizer for this one. This one takes both. So it's just back up there, and... we'll go over and we will buy a bag of fertilizer, because, like we said before, it is actually realistic to do the fertilizer like this. It's just, like you're just using a bucket. So we'll just put that there. Okay, you don't have to lift the bags up over the machine and drain them out. You could just do it using a bucket and fill them up that way. So I need to hitch this thing on. There we go. And put the PTO on as well. Let's lower it down so that we can load it up. When we want to put the seed in, if I just press R, we'll start refilling it. Oh, is that all? I wonder if we should go... Well, we'll go back to the yard and we'll use the bit that's in the yard, because we don't actually have that much that we need to worry about. So let's load that one up, put the cover on, and lift is a bit of a that's very, very light on the wheels, but I think that the Zeta, I would like to see the Zeta doing this. I think the Zeta is going to be perfect for doing this job. It is quite a powerful tractor. Some tractors, they say they're 60 horsepower and they act like they're 30 horsepower. Some tractors, they say 60 and they act like they're 100. The Zeta that I used to use, it was fairly similar to this one. One of the people that I worked for many years ago. That was one of those ones that acted like it was 100 horsepower rather than 60. And yeah, the old International, that is another one that acted more powerful than it actually was. I've seen several tractors do that. It is rare. Well, it's rarely seen that it goes the other way. I'm on the wrong side of the road. I should be over on this side of the road. I'm in Europe now, not in the UK. I'm used to doing the Dowland Farm now, aren't I? So I'm used to driving on the other side of the road. Yeah, so there are some tractors out there that seem to have less horsepower than advertised. But in my experience, most tractors, they seem to sort of have more power than you'd think they would. The one tractor that I did used to drive that really definitely had less power than it was supposed to. It was supposed to be 140, I think it was 140 horsepower tractor. It was a Deutz-Fahr. It was an air-cooled engine rather than a water-cooled engine. A steep sloping bonnet on the front. Horrible tractor to drive, and it just had no power to it. It was absolutely horrible. I hated that tractor, I really did. And add to that the fact that it was the only tractor on that farm that I worked on that didn't have proper working air conditioning, and it was a really belting hot summer. And yes, yours truly got to drive that tractor for most of the summer. So yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience for me, and therefore I am bitter and twisted and resent the Deutz because of it. And also because of it, I'm kind of not that fond of Deutz tractors in general. I'm not going to hold them against it, because I've seen the newer ones and they are a lot better. But at the same time, I'm still going to be prejudiced against Deutz tractors because of the fact that I had to spend that summer sweltering away in this horrible old tractor that just would not do what you wanted it to do. It was just not suitable for the work. Right, let's put that one up there and go on a little bit closer. Yeah, this is what I don't get. It's doing the same thing that it did last time. It's not picking it up. And I'm not quite sure why. If I come out and do it, press Q, and then go back in and... No, it's not going to do that. So why aren't you picking it up? This is what it did with the Zeta as well, didn't it? It didn't want to pick it up, and I had to play around with it for quite a bit. Let me just figure this one out, and then I will get back to you. Okay, I have no idea what I did, or how I did it, but it's now working. So, if you can figure out why it did it, I'd be really grateful. I got absolutely no idea. I didn't do anything different. I just kept pressing the same buttons, and eventually it worked. So, unless there's a slight bug with the manual attach that it's causing it to do that, I can't really think of any practical reason why it would do that, or... well, not practical. I just can't think of any logical reason why it would do that. It's got to be a bug there somewhere. Now, in real life, what you do is you'd be filling up each of these individually, and those are the ones that hold the seed, and then the front one would hold the fertilizer. At least I think that's the way. It might not be that. It might be the other way around. I'm not quite sure. I've never actually used a row crop planter, but from what I've seen, I'm pretty certain that is the way round that it goes. The seed goes into the little bits on the buckets on the back, and the fertilizer goes into the bit on the front. I know there's some of you out there who've used a lot of row crop planters. You've done a huge amount of work with the row crop planters. Let me know, which one is it? Does the seed go in the little bit at the back, or does the seed go in the big bucket at the front? Or is it a mixture of both? It could be both. Right, let's go up here and get that one. Close the lid on. Now if we lift it up, how heavy is it now? It's sinking down an awful lot, isn't it? That's absolutely brilliant. Right, we will get this one out to the field so that it's at least ready. We've still got to wait for the field to heat up. I don't think it'll be today. I think maybe in a couple of days' time it will be warm enough to start planting. But we can get over there. We can go back over to where the sheep are, or where the sheep will be, and we can at least get ready. My question for this week is, which of the 5 tractors would you like me to get on this farm? There is the Fiat 5600 series, or is it 4500 series? I'm going to have a look now. Just go to there and scroll up through really quickly. There we go, the Fiat 4500 series. That one, the International 744, that one there. Then we got the Series 200C, that one. The Massey Ferguson. Then there is the Universal 445, and finally the Valtra Valmet 602, which is that one there. Which one would you like? It's your vote, it's your game. Head in the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. So yes, today I know I've spent more time talking than actually doing, and then we had the zero grazing thing that kind of didn't zero graze, and we haven't really accomplished a great deal today, but if anybody can fill me in on a few of these little details. Does anybody know why we couldn't cut the grass that didn't belong to us? There was a little strip there. The mower didn't seem to release the grass or something. Is it to do with the map, or do you think it's more likely to be to do with my forage wagon mod or something like that? I don't know. There's something going on that's not letting us do it properly, and I want to get to the bottom of that one and find out what's causing it. Anybody that knows anything about the grass growth stages, when does the grass grow, what harvest stage does it reach, does it get to harvest stage 3 or not? Because in the vanilla game you get 3 growth stages on the grass, don't you? The one is very, very light crop, then you get another one that goes for a slightly heavier crop, and is it this one that I want to go? Yes, it is up here. It's slightly a heavier crop that you get, but it's not the final one, and the final one is the one that has the flowers come up. Do you get the final growth stage with seasons? What happens with that? I'd really like to know. I want to know all the details about it so that we can plan ahead. So, yeah, I need a lot of information from you guys this time. And if we can get that info and sort of get ourselves ready, we then know what we're going to do for the rest of the year. I'm just going to park this one right here under the trees. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.